computer system. That's my network set up already. Now, to confirm that our two network adapters is residing on my computer system, I'll come to my network here. I'll right click. I'll say open network and sharing center. And if you go to network and sharing center, you'll be able to see two network adapters. Can you see them? Now, this two network adapter is telling you now that we have two network adapters, but they are coming from the same router. Now, that's why if I go to click on this adapter, I will confirm on details here. You see my connection there, it's .2. So that is how to set up two network adapters on a computer system using the same router. So I'm going to close this now. Now the next step I want us to do is to install, to set up a shared folder. Okay, so I'm going to right click on the desktop. I'm going to go to new. I'm going to type folder, and I'm going to type docs. Okay. Okay, now you were asked to share these docs to a specific user called John Smith and Peter James. Now, John Smith and Peter James do not currently reside on this computer, so how do you create these users? And you were also asked that John Smith and Peter James should reside in a specific computer. So I want you guys to go to Lab 7. Go to Lab 7. I'm going to be using the shared folder, local accounts, local groups, and managing resources. I'm going to be setting all those things at once. Okay. Now the first step there says manage access to resources. It says at this point you need to create a folder and assign the rights and permission to allow the appropriate group access to the resources without allowing unauthorized access. Take note, without allowing unauthorized access. Okay, we have the resource access and the resource name. Excuse me. Lab 7. No, I also added Lab 7. I did add Lab 7 class, right? Yeah. So get it from somebody. Okay. Our resource name, we have resource access and resource name. We have sales planning, sales and marketing, marketing and finance, and sales and finance. So this is docs. So I want you to open docs. We're going to create 3 folders. We're going to create sales and marketing, marketing and finance, and sales and finance. So I'll right click now. I'll go to a new folder, and I'll say sales and marketing. I'll create another folder. Make sure you follow what I'm doing. Marketing, and what? Finance. And the third folder would be sales and what? Finance. Okay. I'm going to create a notepad here. I'm going to click on Start menu now. I just want you guys to see what I'm going to type. I just want to type the name of the users. We have the first user by name John Peter. The second user's name is James Foreman. The third user's name is Jane Smith. The fourth user's name is Thomas. Sorry, Tony. Tony Dave. Okay. According to the practical, we have 3 groups. Sales and finance, receivables groups should be the only people able to access that folder. Advertising should only advertising group should access marketing and finance. Sales and marketing folder should only be accessed by sales planning group. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a short form. Receivable group, it starts for R, A. So R and A, it's receivable and advertising. So Dave, it's part of that group. SP, which is sales planning, and R and A, Jane Smith, it's part of those 2 groups. Poor man, it's only part of the sales planning group. And John Peter, it's only part of the advertising group. Now, you're required now to ensure that these users who are part of this group have access to those folders we've just created required by the organization. So what we're going to be doing now, we're going to create a local group. We're going to create a local group. We're going to create a local user. We're going to assign permissions to these groups based on the folder created within the computer system. Okay, let's start off. I'm going to go to my computer now. My start menu. I'll click on my start menu. I'll go to computer. I'll right click. Take your mouse to computer, right click, and you see the word manage. Now click on it. Of course, you're logged in as the administrator, so it's going to elevate you. If somebody was not an administrator, you can see the sheet there. It's going to ask you to put in your username and your password. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come to local users and what? Groups. So I'll expand it. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to create those users earlier on we said. And these are the users here. So I'm going to start with John Peter. So we'll come here, we'll right click. And first, for best practice, use the initials of the first name and the last name. So John Peter will be JP. Is that not correct? So we'll say full name, John Peter. Give it default password. My password is Monday. You can select any password you want to use. I don't know, I'm having trouble with my mouse. I don't know what's wrong with it. Okay, I'll put Monday there. User must change their password at next logon. You can uncheck that. And says users cannot change their password. So I'll come here and click create. Then the next user is what? The next user is James Poorman. James Poorman, so is J. Okay, there's going to be a conflict with the username, so put J, John. Sorry, J-A-P. Huh? For yeah, J-A-P, J-A-P. Full name is James Poorman. And password, Monday. And on check, user must, and says users cannot change their password. And click create. Who's next online? We have Jane Smith and Tony Dave. So we say Jane S. Sorry, use small caps. JS, Jane, is Jane what? Jane Smith, password, Monday. User can change their password, create. So we have Tony what? Tony Dave, right? TD. So it's Tony Dave. And password, it's Monday. So we go to the password, we uncheck for user not to change, and users cannot change password, and we click create. Okay guys, we are done with the users. The next thing we want to do is to create the groups. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go to groups, and we're going to create those 3 groups we said earlier on, right?
Can you give us a second?
Excuse me?
Can you give us a second?
A second.
Yeah. Just finish.
Okay, we'll click on new group. The first group we're creating is sales planning. Sales planning. Who's members of sales planning? Let me go back to the list. Sales planning, we have Jane Smith and James Poorman. Okay. So we'll come here. You see members here. Can you see members? So we'll go here and say add members. Okay, now I'm struggling with my mouse. I don't know why this is this. Let me see. So I'm going to go and click on add members, add. I'm going to type James, that's JP, check names, there's JP, so I'll click OK. So that's one person gone. I'll type Jane Smith, I'll check names, she's available, I'll click OK. So now I have two users which have been added now. So I'll click create. Don't know what's wrong with my mouse, but it's misbehaving. The next group is what? Advertising. The next group is advertising. The members are, who are the members? Let's check. So we have Tony Dave and Jane Smith. Advertising, AA. Tony Dave and James Smith. And John Peter. Yeah, John Peter. Okay. Can we click on John Peter? Sorry. Oh, I think I made a mistake now. Let me close this. Advertising. Okay, I add John Peter, check names, is there. I add again. Who else again? Tony Dave. And last person is Jane Smith. Check names. Okay. Now the next group we're going to be creating, it's what's the group name? Receivable. RECEIVABLES. Receivable. Okay, we're going to add, who is on receivable?
Tony Dave.
Tony Dave and who? Only Tony Dave. Okay. So Tony D, TD, check names. Tony Dave is there. Okay. We'll go to create. That's it, guys. So it's done. Now all we need to do is to go to the folders and add those groups instead of the users. Are we together? So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go to my folder. I'm going to go to marketing and finance. I'm going to right click. I'm going to go to property, because remember we need to share the folders as well. I'm going to go to share.